Whoopi Goldberg censored by The View, Prince Andrew behind bars, Hillary Clinton trying to defend why her husband would be in hot water with young ladies. Folks, the world has gone crazy, and it turns out the elites are finally starting to crumble under the pressure of the corruption 2 decades that the island man wrought upon the world. Today, we'll explain why the rot of the elites might not be around for much longer. Jail? Maybe. It's time to tell the tale right now. Folks, justice is out there, even if it's not brought forth in this mortal coil. But in this case, it just might happen. And it might happen to a lot of people who drive the media at the highest levels as well as politics. We'll get into the muck of it all. It's yucky indeed, and that's why some people need to go to jail. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. But as we dive in today, consider clicking that like button. We've got the clips you need to see right now. The entire media elite is under collapse, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here not to laugh at them, but to cover what's really going down. And it's them. They're really going down. Take a look at this out of Entertainment Weekly right now. The View is censoring poor Whoopi during an on-air discussion about Bill Gates and Epstein. People who are very, very powerful will look for the person who's more powerful than them. They doth protest too much, maybe, at The View, and I'll explain why in just a second. The View has continued its long tradition of cutting its co-host audio live on the air. Whoopi Goldberg seemed to be censored on Thursday's episode of the talk show when she appeared to use vulgarities to refer to the male anatomy as the panel discussed Bill Gates and Epstein. Now, why? Why are they now raging and saying all these kinds of things? Well, folks, because from Benny has this, hosted by the MRC, this is The View, and this is when they found out they're in the list.
Now, in the name of transparency.
In the name of transparency, we've been calling for the release now for years. We've said that you know who is in there. But now that it's out,
you're on that list, that it's definitive proof of wrongdoing.
Oh, yes, but now, Marv, in the name of transparency.
Can you put up my name is in the files?
Oh, Whoopi, no! Whoopi, no! How'd Whoopi get in the list? Because she wanted to borrow the plane. I mean, this is not like some little thing. Whoopi wanted to borrow the plane, ladies and gentlemen. So The View now is having to do all of this, right? They've got to curse. They've got to be mad because they don't want you to remember, oh, Whoopi's in the list. Maybe some of the rest are too.
If there are people that disgust you, I mean, you have to weigh your disgust against the fact that they have a plane.
Yeah, plane. You know the plane, folks. She needed to borrow.
What are you going to do? Ride around in a plane with a bunch of people?
Nah. By the way, the media elites as well as the global elites getting caught up in this. You may have heard that Bill Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, and Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State, had to do some interviews. And folks, we're going to stay away from the politics of it because I know that it's definitely political. But I want to go to what Hillary had to say about this because you need to know that some of the folks out there that you thought would never be taken down, would never be caught up in this, and who have tremendous influence on the media are getting caught up in this. Here's what Hillary Clinton had to say when asked about her husband in literal and figurative hot water with young women and the island man. Here's what was said.
When you saw photos of your husband in a hot tub laying on a beach and getting massaged by other women, and you knew that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in some of these trips and these things, did it concern you at all?
I'm here not to offer my opinions. I'm here to answer specific questions to the best of my ability.
When you saw your husband in these photos with young women being massaged, what went through your mind?
I am not going to speculate.
You didn't have any feelings about young women massaging your husband?
I am not going to offer opinions or speculation about anything that I have no context for and was not there.
Well, Lauren, has that ever played out that way in the history of mankind, that a man married to a woman is in a hot tub with young women and the woman being asked about it says, I don't really, that's just speculation what I thought about that.
It would be a unique circumstance.
Well, they're about to turn on the Clintons because Bill, while he was doing his deposition, said under oath that Trump never had anything to do with Epstein.
Well, that's because Bill wants to get out of here alive.
Yeah, and so they're all about to turn on Bill Clinton now, I guarantee it.
The left is hoping that they're going to get the orange man also under deposition about this. But the media elites, some of the folks out there who have power in ways that are just unimaginable, they're finally getting caught up in this. And those who are wishing for justice to be brought, I don't know that that's going to happen, but I can tell you that we're moving in places we've never been before. Out of People magazine, the royal family exposed, and you better believe people make a lot of money off the royal family and the coverage of them. Ex-Prince Andrew's arrest and the mounting fallout for Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, Beatrice, and Eugenie. Andrew's arrest has revealed a family shielded by privilege, putting Sarah Ferguson under scrutiny and raising questions about Beatrice and Eugenie's future. It's actually putting the entire monarchy under possibility of collapse.
Oh, no.
Can Prince William save this thing? Can Kate? We'll find out, folks, but you hate to see it. You hate to see it. Everybody in power right now seems to be getting caught up in this, right? Whether it's the ladies of The View, whether it's those who thought they were completely immune, the Clintons. And I got to say, I think that Hollywood is freaking out right now with the fear that their names are going to be exposed and they're going to be brought forth to talk about this stuff. And I don't know that they have to go to jail. I know many of you want them to go to jail. And if they've done bad things, who wouldn't want bad people to go to jail for bad things? Got that. However, gentlemen, it's also whether or not they are even employable in front of the American people anymore and the globe. So if you're attached to this, if people find out that you were attached to the Clintons while they were doing this, or if they find out that you were trying to borrow the plane, like how much more runway do you have, pun intended, to have an audience? Because I think this actually crosses the left and the right divide. I think that anybody who touched this slime for about 2 decades is about to be unwanted, maybe banished. And this might be the true cancel culture that finally comes their way. Marv, I'll start with you. I know Lauren has lots to say, but Marv, your thoughts on the media empires that are falling apart under this?
I have no faith that any actual consequences, whether that be being put in bracelets or whether that just be not being hired for jobs, will befall anyone who is involved in this situation. This is entirely too entrenched and entirely too rich and entirely too powerful people. And I think that they are just waiting to sweep this under the rug and move on to the next thing and the next orange man bad. It's an unfortunate truth, but I mean, I think that is what's going to happen. You saw she lost her ever-loving mind in this thing. She started screaming and stormed out. Where we finally got to see why the Secret Service once labeled her Broomstick One. They did. That was her nickname because they always give the nicknames. She was Broomstick One. But I don't think anyone's going to actually face any kind of consequences. Whoopi, they're never going to fire her off The View, and it's not like she's out there doing movies anymore. So, I honestly don't think that we're going to see any consequences delivered to anybody, as horrible as that is. I think that the UK is bringing more consequences to people than the United States is. And I think I think Legally Blonde needs to get up off her butt and actually make something happen out here.
Lauren, your thoughts on the difference between the disparity between the UK and the US of A so far? And do you think that even outside of the legal proceedings that maybe this will make people so unhireable, so dislikable among the public that maybe if you've touched this stuff, people say enough with you?
I think that's an optimistic view, just because I think it's going to be so difficult to try and corroborate who was involved in the really bad stuff and who were the people that were tangentially attached, like Whoopi here. I also think that you're always going to have people protect their own. I think you're more of an optimist that there is a line that can cross that will unite the right and left. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. And I think if you want an example of somebody who has gone through something similar in the past and yet is still regarded as a great filmmaker, you need to look no further than Roman Polanski. So I think this is sensationalist. I think everybody likes to make a lot of outraged sounds and say that, gosh, all of these people should be in jail. But in actuality, I don't think anybody is willing to take that position because there's just no way to determine what actually happened here. The Epstein files, they're not like a combined list of files that say these are the people that were involved in wrongdoing. Here's all of the accounts and things that they did. It's a compilation of information that may implicate somebody, but nothing that you could say is evidence unless they have pictures.
Look, things like Harvey Weinstein and things like Diddy, they're all doing it. It's just that only certain ones get called out when maybe they decide they're going to vote a different way, or maybe they do cross somebody who's a little too powerful. I legitimately don't think that there's any hope of people, because the people that would have to bring the charges up against them are probably people that are involved in this as well. That's how deep I truly think this goes.
Can I speculate for a minute and see what you guys think?
Yeah, it's putting Palpatine on trial in front of the Senate.
So my speculation on this, and by the way, Purple Brain, no consequences, yet Martha Stewart spent time in prison for unconfirmed insider trading.
Thanks to James Comey, by the way.
That's right. She loves him too. My speculation is that the people who investigated this originally are probably corrupt, guided by corruption, and therefore that's why these files are insufficient to do anything with now, is because from top to bottom, this has been led by political operatives, by people. The media is political. And that's why when we cover entertainment, sometimes we have to cover the politics of it, because they're entrenched. They're one and the same. They're linked together, right? And so my belief is that these corrupt political people investigated themselves in a way that makes it almost impossible to ever get them. And the whole thing is just a giant ball of total corruption, top to bottom. Mm-hmm. And my hope is that we go into a new era of accountability where hopefully the internet and independent journalism makes it so that this situation cannot rise again easily.
Well, and I think the president needs to fire Legally Blonde and get somebody in there who will actually, have the guts to actually bring charges against people who need to have charges brought against them.
I have a thought about that. Okay, so I know a lot of people are unhappy with the DOJ, right? And we have friends who have friends in the DOJ here. And here's what I'll say about it. There's a way to look at that and say that things are not going well in terms of that. And you might say, well, look at what's going on with the Department of War. And that's being run a different way than the DOJ. It's been proposed to me that perhaps the DOJ is so filled at this point with people who disagree with conservatives that getting the DOJ to do anything that would resemble what Trump or conservatives want, it's like trying to get a snake to win in a sprint. Like it doesn't even do that anymore. Like they've completely transmogrified the DOJ into something else. And now, you're trying to figure out, what do I do with this thing that doesn't do the thing I need it to do in this moment? Lauren, what are your thoughts there in terms of, the lack of action that we've been seeing? Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and I know, for example, I know that, the Assistant Attorney General, Harmeet Dillon, is phenomenal, entirely talented, but the DOJ is not operating the way that so many want to see.
I think I lean towards Megyn Kelly's interpretation of the situation, which is that Pam Bondi wanted to make a celebrity of herself, kind of. And I think that compromised the investigation. I think that she made a lot of claims that she didn't think she was going to have to back up. And then when she started to try and throw some bones to the media, it was stuff that had already been released and embarrassed her and the Trump administration. The real question I have is why Trump has kept her on. That's the thing that I don't quite understand in this situation.
Was it was Jeff Sessions was his first attorney general in his first term, right?
Yeah.
And boy, that didn't go well.
He's not great like here.
And well, yeah, he makes Pam Bondi look like, the greatest. She's the Matlock of the DOJ. She's the greatest there's ever been. So maybe he's afraid that if he were to, replace, boy, you don't want to have another Jeff Sessions situation. Boy, you don't want that.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Which is worse? Is it having somebody there that's not actually fulfilling the role, or is it somebody that you actually have to debate with? I mean, honestly, yeah, you could get somebody there that's just going to actively resist you, but I don't know. I guess who would you put up for the role? Would it be Harmeet Dillon? Is that who you would slot in if it was not?
From my standpoint, sure, if she'd be willing.
Do you think that she would present opposition?
Do I think that she would put opposition up to being placed in that position?
Well, do you think that she would actually not act on things? It's like...
do I think she would subvert the will of the presidency by going rogue? Oh, no.
Then I just don't understand the premise of your question then. It's like, if the question is...
I'm on Team Harmeet, sure. I'd love to have her as the head of the DOJ. You're not going to... I'm with you on that. I'm trying to speculate as why President Trump has not done what he has done. And maybe he doesn't know... maybe he doesn't have those contacts in that way. I don't know. But I will say that as we watch the Hollywood elites and the media elites and the political elites all facing the heat, we never thought we'd see the day that Hillary Clinton would be put in front of a committee such as this and be forced to say, regarding her husband in literal hot water, a jacuzzi with young women at Epstein Island, Hillary say, oh, I can't speculate as to how I felt about that. I just couldn't.
I don't actually have all the context. There may be a totally legitimate reason why my husband is in a hot tub with multiple young women. You know, I'm sure that there's a logical explanation for this.
Our foundation was clearly just trying to help those women. Those women are they're from Haiti, I'm sure. Just look at them, clearly. Folks, it's time to bid you adieu, but we hope that you will help us anew, and that is, we're only asking you click that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, have you gone the way of thatparkplace.com? www.thatparkplace.com. It's the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. A bastion of truth and knowledge when it comes to entertainment and everything that's going on. Go check it out today, folks. We would love to have you over there as well. All right, we are getting ready to head out, but do not fret, for we will put out 4 more videos tomorrow, so long as the good Lord allows. And we believe that probably, just might, happen. All right, until the next time we get to share time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.